do today is we're going to talk about what I'm carrying on my 2018 PCT through hike, and as well we're going to talk about how I pack the pack. Making a pack load video is pretty time consuming, so I just wanted to hit two birds with one stone. First, we're going to start with what kind of pack are you going to take? The pack that I'm taking is the same pack that I used on most of the AT. It's a Gossamer Gear Gorilla, and if you'll notice, it's looking a little like it doesn't have a frame or a stay or any of that stuff. Also, it doesn't have a hip belt on it. I'm going to get to the reasons for that I did that, but this is a Gossamer Gear Gorilla. It's a 40-liter pack, more than adequate for the AT and the PCT. I'm hoping it's going to suit me well. Also, doesn't have a brain on it. They made a new pack in 2018 that they took the removable brain completely off, which I think was a good idea, but bought this one at a discount, so there's no way I'm going to buy a new one right now. So on the pack, the first thing we're going to look at on the pack is what's going to go in here to basically use as a frame. On the PCT, there's a large chance as a hammocker that you're going to have to sleep on the ground. From the people I've talked to that have actually done the whole PCT in a hammock, there's a pretty good chance you're going to have to sleep on the ground. So for that, I'm going to use this Z-Lite, 6 sections of a Z-Lite. It's the same one that a lot of people use on the AT and PCT and a lot of other long distance trails. It's not very comfortable, but number one, it fits nicely as a pack frame. I can use it if I have to sleep on the ground. And the third reason is I have a 3/4 underquilt, which I'm going to get to later, and you can put this under your feet when it gets kind of chilly, and it keeps your feet from getting cold. So you're going to take this and take your Gorilla pack, or the normal foam piece that comes in it. You take that out and you just slide it in, and it fits great. Did this on the AT, and I really like doing this. I use this pad right here to put some stuff on under my hammock, or if I needed some extra insulation, it's pretty good for that. Other things on the pack: shoulder strap pockets. This one is actually from Z-Packs, and the other one on the other side is from Wayfinder Gear. It's a new company. This is a pretty nice shoulder pack. They're making some nice packs that I'd like to eventually get one of. So the first thing that's going to go in my pack is, of course, a pack liner. This is the Cuban fiber one from Z-Packs. This is the same one I used on the AT. Really liked it. Kept my gear dry. The only issue I had was when I was sliding over some rocks in New Hampshire area, I cut a hole through the bottom of my pack and it also nicked my pack liner, but I put some tape on that one and it was fine for the rest of the hike, but this is the one I got for the PCT. So, alright, so what's the first thing we're going to put in their pack? First thing I'm going to put in my pack is my sleeping quilt, which is this one right here. It's a Enlightened Equipment Revelation 20-degree sleeping quilt. Same one I used on the AT all the way up to Virginia, and then I switched to a 50-degree quilt, which I won't be using on the PCT due to the trail being colder. This is a Revelation quilt. As you can see, it zips open so you can lay it all the way flat. That's a feature I thought I was really going to like, and I mean, it's so-so when it's cold, but I'd rather have a sewn foot box. And I did actually buy another quilt with a sewn foot box for the PCT, but it was a 40-degree one, so I'm still debating whether I'm going to swap this one out for that one. So you take this, stuff it down the bottom of the pack, and also some specs on that EE Revelation quilt. I got the wider version, and also got the 950 down so I could save a little bit of weight. Next thing we're going to put in our pack is my underquilt. This is the underquilt that I got specifically for the PCT. It's made by Hammock Gear. It's a 20-degree underquilt with 950 down. You have to get 950 down custom ordered from them, but with that, it makes this underquilt really light, especially lighter than my full-length 40-degree underquilt, and it's got a 20-degree temperature rating. Stick this one, put it in next. Next thing I'm going to put in my pack is my hammock. We're going to talk a little bit about that. It's my hammock in the double-ended stuff sack. I'm usually not a big fan of stuff sacks, but I use this double-ended stuff sack because it protects the bug netting in the hammock. I had some issues on the AT with my chameleon. The hammock had some runs in the bug net, and I talked to the manufacturer, and he said that, you know, if you keep it in a bag and don't push other stuff against the net, that it makes it last a little bit longer. So we'll just open this up so I can show you my suspension that I'll be using for the hammock. Hammock I'm using is Dutchware half zipped. Full disclosure, this hammock was provided for me to review. I really like this hammock. It's going to be going on the PCT with me. The only things I've added to it was a ridgeline organizer, and I also switched the continuous loops out for Hummingbird's button link suspension. It's a little bit lighter than having a continuous loop and a Dutch beaner, so I use it on the AT for about 400 or 500 miles, and it really worked well, so I'm going to try it again on the PCT. The suspension I'm going to be using is a Humminbird tree strap combo. Basically what it is it has a loop on one end, and you have your tree strap, and then they have tied in a whoopee sling, and you wrap it around there, and you take that button link, run one end through this end of the whoopee sling, and then you put it back over that button, and then it'll hold your hammock up. These are really light. If they're dry, I'll put them in the double in a stuff sack with the hammock so I can find them. If they're wet, I'll put them in the back mesh packet of the gorilla. The thing we're going to put in is my insulating layer that I'm going to be carrying on the PCT. This is the Montbell 1000 fill parka with the hood. On the AT I carried their Plasma 1000, which is a great down jacket that is also 1000 fill, but it doesn't have a hood, and it really sucks not having a hood when your head is cold and the wind's hitting your neck. So decided to go with this one for the PCT. It's a little bit heavier, but you get a hood, and I really like it. The good thing about the Montbell jackets is they pack down really small. Throw in there is my Montbell wind jacket. This is their ultralight wind parka. If I can show it to you. Has a nice hood too, and really like this for hiking when it's a little bit cool. This is a good vapor barrier, traps the heat, and it's also a lot more comfy to hike in than a rain jacket. And the best way I've heard this ultralight parka described, it's a little bit above their actual wind parka, and it's a little bit below an actual rain jacket. I really like hiking in it, and it weighs about 4 ounces, I think. Also, a good thing about the wind jacket is you can use it at night if you want to stay warm until you get your sleeping coat warmed up and you don't have to carry a base layer. At least at the beginning, that's going to be my plan. Next thing I want to throw in there is these are the Montbell Tachyon wind pants, and these things are excellent at keeping your legs warm and not having to hike in, say, rain gear or something like that. They're water resistant. I found them to be really good water resistant. I took them to Pennsylvania on a late season hike, and we had some drizzling rain when it was chilly, and it kept water off of you enough, keep you dry, get you where you're going. These are can also be used kind of like a base layer when you go to sleep, and also I've heard they're really good at keeping the bugs from eating you alive in the section where it's cooler and you can probably wear them. And after I get all that stuff in my dry bag, what I will do is I'll go ahead and cinch it down. What I'll do now is I'll put my accessories bag, I guess I'll call it just miscellaneous, which we'll talk about what's in there. It's just a Ziploc bag. First thing that's in there is my inflatable pillow. For the hammock, I use an inflatable pillow that goes under my neck, or if you're going to sleep on the ground, you're going to need some kind of pillow. It's not your food bag. We'll talk about that in a minute. Sunscreen for the desert. This is my first aid kit, and we'll just look at some of the stuff that's in it. Gold Bond powder for the chafing or anything like that. Have a little mini first aid kit. It's got some antiseptic, some stingies, and some gear tape in there for making small repairs. Have a bag full of a few pain relievers and some fish oil. I like to hike with that. Have some nail clippers. Have a spare lighter with some Lugo tape wrapped around it. And also have a tiny Swiss Army knife. For the AT, I carried a Gerber dime multi-tool, which is really great because it had a bottle opener on it for obvious reasons. But this one is much lighter, so I'm going to try this one for the PCT. Next thing we're going to put on top of the main compartment is our food bag. So I'm going to show you guys what's in my food bag. This is just the Z-Packs large dry bag, I think. I used the Sea to Summit one on the AT, and it was great. It wore out. I had to get an outdoor research one, and those are a little bit heavier than the Cuban fiber ones. So inside my bag, I got my toothbrush. I normally put that in my bag when I hang it. So put toothbrush, toothpaste, anything that's going to smell. And then I have some bear hanging line from Lightsmith. Then I have a little mini carabiner for the PCT method. It's really important to hang your food when you can. I know you're going to hear a lot of stories about people using their food bags as pillows, which is kind of irresponsible in my opinion, because if a bear associates a tent with food, they're going to start coming to the tents even when they don't smell food. This happened on the AT up north. There were bears that were seeing backpacks inside of, say, a tent or tarp and going in and taking the backpack out because they thought there was food in there. If you're purposely instigating the bears to make them know that there may be food in the tent, you're just asking for them to come into your tent. And especially with me, I sleep under a tarp, so there's no way I'm just going to leave my food under my tarp. So you really shouldn't sleep with your food. This just goes on top. Of course, it's going to be full of food. It goes on top. I don't keep that in my dry bag because obviously it's in a Cuban fiber bag, so there's no real need to do that. You cinch it down and use these nice little buckles to hold it down. Now we're going to talk about what goes on the outside of the pack. First thing I'm probably going to put in there is my maps. This is a 1 gallon Ziploc bag. It has my maps for, of course, the first section, Campo to Warner Springs. Also has my PCT permit in there. Next thing I'll slide in there is my alcohol fuel bottle. This is a smart water bottle. This is what I use on the AT. They make some bottles that are specifically for alcohol. This worked great on the AT. I used it all the way up until when I went no cook at the very end, and I just threw this bottle away. This bottle comes full of smart water, so you can always replace it. Different size bottle than you normally drink out of, and just write fuel or something on. On the AT, I had a piece of orange duct tape around it, but based on the place where I kept it in my pack, there was little to no confusion about, you know, accidentally drinking heat or denatured alcohol or whatever you have in your bottle. Next thing I'm going to put on the outside are these Platy bags. These are going to be used for the desert. They're 2 liter. Use one of them on the AT, but I'm going to take 2 just in case to supplement, you know, long water carries or having to take water to camp. We'll talk about that. This is a hammock gear, Cuban fiber tarp with doors. This bag that it's in is just a mesh sack that I made. Inside the bag, I have the tarp with snake skins that are also made out of mesh that I made. This is the steak bag. It's going to go with the tarp. There's 6 steaks in here. These steaks, why not show you guys? These are the carbon fiber steaks from Z-Packs. Used them on the AT. They're really great. I never had one pull out of the soil while I was sleeping, and I don't like trying to find sticks and stuff for steaks, so I carry 6 of these. 4 corners on the tarp, and then 2 tie-outs for the sides if it's really windy and I need some extra protection from the wind, or I need the 2 extra stakes for sleeping on the ground for the actual ridgeline tie-outs to secure into the ground. There's also a lot of cordage in here. That's for number 1, sleeping on the ground, and then number 2, if I have to pull the sides out to keep the tarp from hitting me in the side while I'm trying to sleep. Take this, put it down in the mesh pocket. Alright, and the thing I always put on top of the mesh pocket is my toiletry bag. It's my toiletry bag. It's just a Ziploc bag. It's got toilet paper, a trowel. It's important that you carry one of those. You need to bear your waste and leave no trace, and some hand sanitizer. So it goes on top for easy access. Alright, next we'll go to the side pockets. On my side pockets, I'd like the water to be on the same side and the other things to be on the same side, so I know exactly where to reach for. Pick the pack up so you can see. This side pocket is my left one. What I keep in here is number 1, umbrella. This one is from Montbell. It's a little bit smaller than the normal Gossamer Gear one. It weighs a little bit less and it takes up a little bit less space. And then on the other side of that, I always put my stove. This is my stove bag. It's an alcohol stove. Open it up and we'll look at some things that are in here. First piece in here is a little piece of metal to put on the ground. It keeps you from scorching any twigs or leaves or anything like that. This was made out of cookie sheet from the dollar store, and it's pretty light. It's just a little bag that I keep it in. Titanium spoon. This is the actual windscreen for the stove. Alcohol stove is going to be useless if you don't have a windscreen. It's a koozie that I made out of Reflectix. This is a Snow Peak pot. I don't have a cup. It's a tiny REI microfiber cloth that I use for cleaning out the pot. Inside the pot is my stove. Always keep it inside a little plastic bag. Keep any kind of alcohol residue off the inside of the pot. It's a Fancy Feast stove. It's the same one I use on the AT. Keep a little cup to measure it by 1 ounce. Cup really doesn't weigh that much. And also keep my lighter in there. And as you can see, it's nicely in the side pocket. Other side pocket is specifically for water bottles. These are just 1 liter smart water bottles. I have a 1.5 one I'm probably going to carry in the desert, but this is where the water goes. So on the side, I'm going to have my hat. Go with the umbrella. Also attach my flashlight to the hat, which we're going to talk about in a minute. To go into the mesh pocket, one thing that I forgot is a little piece of polycro ground sheet, and that's for if you're sleeping on the ground, or also I use it to put under my hammock so I can lay my backpack and stuff on and it won't get wet. One last thing I want to talk about that I'm going to be carrying, since I'm not using a hip belt this time, I made that decision. I'm going to be carrying this little fanny pack. It's made by Gossamer Gear. It's called the Hipster. What I'm going to carry in here is going to be, number 1, sunglasses, some more hand sanitizer, water filter, which is the Katahdin Be Free. This has got a new filter, and then also ordered another one that I'm going to get down the trail. It's got the little bag. Never had any issues with the bag. Some people had them get little holes and stuff in them. Also in this pack for easy access, just a little flashlight. It's one I got from Amazon. It's called the Thru Night. Now that we have that, we'll talk about what are you going to wear, and part of what you're going to wear, and maybe is I'm going to have some hiking poles. The hiking poles are going to be for obvious reasons hiking, and also for setting my tarp up on the ground in the areas where you don't have trees. Hiking poles that I use on the AT are these Gossamer Gear ones that you can shorten and lengthen. They're LT4. One of them looks a little newer than the other one. That's because I had an issue. I snapped one of them during my shakedown hikes, and I had to get a new section from Gossamer Gear, so wear when I'm actually hiking the trail. So we'll go look at that. Genji toe socks, Ex Officio Patagonia baggies. These are the 7-inch, not the 5-inch, like the long ones. It's gonna be a long sleeve Columbia fishing shirt, and then of course a buff. This question of what kind of gear changes are you gonna make? Right now I have a few things that changes that I'm gonna make. I'll just let you know a few of those, but as you know, it's subject to change. Right here on the bed, I have these wool outdoor research gloves that I'm probably going to send to the Sierra just to make sure my hands stay warm while I'm hiking during the day. Also have some Z-Packs rain mitts. They're probably going to be used in the Sierra and then Washington at the very end of the trail. Oh, Versalite rain jacket. I'm gonna have it sent to the Sierra and maybe train out my wind jacket for that in some areas where it's gonna have a lot more rain. Also gonna use this once I get deep into Washington. This is a Montbell wool base layer shirt and pants. I'm gonna have that in the Sierra. That way I'll have something to sleep in at night. These are outdoor research rain pants. I really don't want to use them, but I may send them to the Sierra if it's going to be rainy, or going to send them to Washington at the end when you can expect a lot of rain. Things that aren't mentioned, or of course a bear can when I get the Sierras. I plan on buying that in Kennedy Meadows, and also the gear to charge my phone and camera. The phone is going to be iPhone 7. It's got a little battery pack on the case. I'm going to carry a little Anchor power brick, which I don't have right now, 2 cords, and then a double USB charger. And all this is going to be in addition to the GoPro, which I can't show you right now because I'm shooting this video on it. But that's what I'm going to shoot for, taking on the PCT in 2018. If you have any questions, let me know below. Thanks.